When you Google or Bing search for social media listening tools, you're greeted by like a flurry of options. Crimson Hexagon, Sisymus, Falcon.io and more are currently dominating the keyword advertisements. I know, I checked earlier. Anyway, social media listening is big business with new tools popping up on a weekly basis, both for free and paid for. But why does social media listening matter, and why are brands investing not just serious money into this, but serious resource with whole social media listening teams popping up at big brands and at big agencies? I'm joined by Hannah Rainford today, Associate Director of Social Media at Jellyfish, and that's basically what we're going to talk about on this edition of Social Buzz Chat. So welcome, Hannah.
Thank you. Thanks, Adam.
Sorry, not a problem. So we're going to jump straight in with the first question is, what can brands gain from social media listening? So I'm brand A, what can I get from it?
Yeah, so the TV channel, a music channel that's targeting young millennials, by actually looking at the conversations being had around their brand and being had about music in general, saw a noticeable difference in school holidays when conversations were being had. So if you think about, what the trend we saw was that actually during the school holidays, there are no mentions early in the morning until you get to about 10, 11 o'clock. Then the kids all wake up. Mentions then, skyrocket, lunchtime, 3 o'clock, peak off in the evenings. Whereas actually during school time, what happens is that you may get a peak early in the morning, and then at 9 o'clock, mentions drop off drastically until 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon when the kids come home from school. So it just shows that actually the TV channel should be making changes to its strategy and how it's talking and how it's engaging based on whether the kids are in school.
Knowing your online demographic, basically.
Yes, exactly.
That's insane, because other companies, they don't need to know about school holidays, do they? It's like, it probably doesn't even matter to them because it's not in their target audience.
Well, that's
but it's
it.
insane.
Yeah, and there's other things as well. Like I was reading about Ben & Jerry's, and they were looking at ice cream. Now, you think about ice cream being a summer product.
Damn right.
Well, actually, what they discovered was that there were lots of people talking in the winter about eating ice cream when they're sat on the sofa, all cuddled up on the sofa with their blankets, eating ice cream. So actually, conversations don't just drop off in the winter. Actually, there are more conversations in winter about ice cream.
I'm a big fan of ice cream all year round,
yeah.
So I'm probably part of that.
And that's what they discovered.
Sat on the sofa, eating a tub of Ben & Jerry's, maybe half a tub, makes you feel a little bit better.
Very restrained of you, half a
Thank
tub.
you, it is very restrained. That's something that Ben & Jerry's probably got in their insights as well.
Probably, yeah, eating a whole tub of Ben & Jerry's, yeah.
I just want
me.
half of it, I'm being good. It's leg day, just a half. So, you talk about how brands are using it now.
Yeah.
Like, how do you see social listening software developing in the future? Like, what can be done to change it? What can change it up?
Yeah, so I think a lot needs to be done around the sentiment, especially on these social listening platforms. They're done by machines, so sometimes they don't detect things like irony, sarcasm, whether someone's being a troll or not. But actually, there's also industries like the gaming industry where something being sick is not negative, but a lot of tools will pick that up as being negative, and actually it's positive. So I think to come, there's going to be a lot of stuff around the kind of using NLP, natural language processing, to be able to kind of take out all these, different intricacies based on the industry that you're in. I think location as well, so actually being able to use social media listening data and actually being able to pinpoint someone's location. So we're already seeing at the moment where people are having conversations about brands, and then brands are using that data, social listening data, to then actually feed that information back into, say, the paid social ads that they're running, Facebook ads, Twitter ads, but actually say, for example, you're at a certain location, and that could be a landmark somewhere. Actually, the social listening tool using image recognition to be able to pick up the fact that you're near Big Ben, and actually businesses near Big Ben, say, for example, the boats, Westminster Pier. Oh, hey, we see that you're at Westminster Pier. Here's 50% off a boat cruise. I think that could be really interesting going forward.
I find it quite concerning.
There's a really thin line, and I think my line is, if it's spammy, then no. If you can be useful or add value, and whether that's in an offer or even just a really insightful piece of advice or even humour or entertainment, then yes, I think that's definitely good. But if you're the worst thing is when I talk about something, and actually social listening companies were probably worse of this, because if I say, hey, is anyone using a good social listening tool, I then get inundated with social listening companies telling me, oh, hey, we'd love to give you a demo, we'd love to give you a demo, we'd love to give you a demo. And it's like, actually...
That's the way it is now.
Actually, if they said to me something like, if a social listing company came up to me and said, right, okay, see you're looking for a new social listing company, have you read this blog post that's on someone else's website about the best social listing tools? That's actually
it
really
should help.
Yeah, it should add value, and I think that is really important.
It does need to add value, and that's where a lot of people go wrong with social listening tools, because they use it on such a base level. It's like, we're searching for our brand name. Hey, look, somebody's mentioned our brand name. Let's quickly throw something in their eye line.
Yes.
And it's been abused. I had an instance of it today on Instagram, for example. Actually, this is crazy. I don't even understand what's happening here. I tweeted about some iced coffee, and then somebody showed up plugging their on-demand TV service. It's like, that's got absolutely nothing to do with Jimmy's iced coffee. That's a drink, that's an on-demand service. And that's another example of social listening being abused. And that's why when you're saying about the Big Ben thing, for example, it will be abused. Something like that will...
But it would have to happen. It would have to be part of an agile marketing strategy. So it would have to happen
Yeah.
in the moment. You couldn't do it an hour later, because can you imagine being at Big Ben? Like, an hour later, you could be anywhere in London. In fact, you could be out of London in an hour.
Could have gone home.
You could have gone home, exactly.
Screw this.
Yeah.
It's raining.
Yeah.
It's just interesting how it's going to go. And you mentioned that it needs to be part of your marketing strategy. We're going to roll into the final question almost seamlessly. How can social listening be used outside of the world of marketing? Like, how can it be used, say, for example, like for social good? How could listening tools be used for social good, for example?
So, social media is the new word of mouth, and millions and millions of people are having conversations every day, whether it's uploading a YouTube video, whether it's Instagramming, iced coffee, just tweeting, having just, a Twitter conversation with their friends or peers. These conversations are happening all the time. And by actually doing, good kind of social listening, you can gain lots of consumer opinions on a wide variety of different topics. From, what does the UK think of, Starbucks' new pumpkin spice latte? Or, they love it, yeah.
Love it.
Or, it could be something like, what does everyone think about, like Brexit was a really good example of this. Lots of the polls, kind of focus groups, market research was indicating that we would stay in.
Yeah.
And actually, social listening data suggested we would go out. Because there's lots of, and being able to actually use it in that way, to be able to, as part of kind of any kind of market research or polling, can be really useful. I've got one of my clients, they offer kind of a product, and actually they do social listening to find out if there's any trends within that particular topic area. Are there any new words, anything that they need to be incorporating into their products? And they're actually using it as business intelligence rather than thinking, oh, hey, what are people saying about us and we're just going to respond.
Yeah.
We're kind of doing it subtly in the background, because we know that actually trends in time, especially kind of, industries like technology, social media, are changing all the time, that actually you need to be, kept up to date with what people are talking about. And social media listening provides a really good platform to be able to do that.
Yeah, completely agree. That's a very interesting way of looking at it, especially from the point of view, oh, this is going to make some people feel ill. It can feel like it's the new SEO in a way. We need to put these words in our content, but it's a better way of knowing your audience and knowing how your audience is speaking.
Yes.
A lot of publishers are doing it as well. They use social media listening not just to see what people are talking about, but how they are talking.
Yeah, what type of content they're sharing, what words they're using.
Exactly.
I think as brands, we want to tell, the audience what it is that we think they want to hear. But actually, our audience they're sharing stuff on social media about, what kind of images they're sharing, what kind of content they consume, what time of day they're on using social media, what platforms they're using. So actually, using social listening data to build your personas, and you'll have a wide variety of different personas, and actually thinking, okay, so this persona, they like watching YouTube videos, or actually maybe they're switching to Facebook videos now. We need to provide content for them. But you've got this guy over here who actually, he only uses LinkedIn potentially, and we're only going to be able to reach him on LinkedIn. And this is the kind of content he's sharing on LinkedIn. So actually, if we want to reach more like him or him, that's what we need to be doing. And you can get that data from social media listening. And actually, when you're thinking about your social content, your SEO strategy, you're actually giving a bit more audience focus rather than just marketing.
Just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Thank you for such an interesting chat.
That's all right. Thanks for having me.
It's not a problem at all. Turn up very early. If you throw your face to that camera there, say your name, where you work, and your Twitter handle.
Yep. So I'm Hannah Rainford. I'm the Associate Director of Social Media at Jellyfish, and my Twitter handle is Hajane, Hajane.
thought you were going to stumble that there.
Thinking, what is my Twitter handle?
What is it? Oh no. And for everybody listening on the podcast, you didn't see a look at the camera. But thank you for listening on the podcast. There's been another episode of SM Buzz Chat. You can watch us on the Drum website. You can watch us on YouTube. You can watch us on Facebook. And as I said before, you can listen to this conversation in full in our new podcast, When on the Move, or in the gym. If you find my voice motivates you, then that's brilliant.
In the car. I like listening to podcasting. I listen to the SM Buzz Chats in the car. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
You got 20 seconds quickly. What podcast are you listening to at the moment?
I am, apart from SM Buzz Chat, of course, Social Media Examiner.
There you go.
That is, if you can get over the slightly annoying kind of tone of voice sometimes, it's really, really insightful.
There we go. Thank you very much, Hannah. We'll be back in another week with another beautiful episode. Let's wave. Let's wave at the camera. I love waving.
Bye.
Hello and welcome to another episode of SM Buzz Chat, your weekly chance to hear what's good in social media and have the best thought leadership from those who actually work it. If you're watching this on the Drone website on YouTube, then I'm waving at you. But if you're listening to it on the all-new SM Buzz Chat podcast, then I just moved my hand in a waving motion.